Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro, friends. Today on the podcast, we are answering the most asked question by roasters, which is, how much should I be selling my coffee for? And in order to give you the answer to that, I'm going to pose you 3 questions. And it's this approach that we take with every single client in Map It Forward when it comes to answering that question. So the answer to how much should I be selling my coffee for requires you to first answer this question. How much does it cost you to produce the roasted bag of coffee? So just take a look at that bag of coffee in front of you. Forget about everything else. How much does what's called the cost of goods? How much does it cost you to turn this product that you have in front of you from all the raw materials to this bag of roasted coffee? So you're determining your cost of goods. Look at everything you can see in front of you and write a list of everything that is there. So you've got the green coffee, you've got the bag, you've got the labels, you've got the pricing sticker or the best before sticker on there. Everything that you see in front of you, you're going to determine what it costs to get that product in front of you. The second question you're going to ask, how much does it cost you to run your business? Now, not included in that is the cost of buying green coffee. Let me say that again. The cost for the green coffee, the cost for the packaging and bags, the cost for the stickers that you put on top of everything, on the bags and underneath the bags. Okay, you get what I mean. But we're talking about the cost of running the business. So the rent, the insurance, the taxes, the tables and chairs that you have to hire or rent, the cost of the vehicles that the business pays for, the administrative wages. The roaster's wages are included in the cost of goods part of the questions. So the first question, the cost of goods, how much did it cost for me to make this bag of coffee? Include the roaster's wages to make that bag of coffee happen in that cost of goods analysis. How do you do that? Take it on general. So in one day, you can produce this many bags of coffee at maximum capacity. And then just take that roaster's wages for the day and divide it by that number of bags. Sorry, I had a mind blank then. Anyway, so question 1, how much does it cost you to create a bag of coffee that you see in front of you? That's your cost of goods analysis. Question 2, how much does it cost you to run your business? That is your fixed costs analysis. And then the third question is, how much would my customers be willing to pay for this product? And this is where people get stuck, because when people say to me, how much should I be charging my customers? The answer is as much as they'll be willing to pay. But knowing that number can take some time to get used to. And there are other things that can get in the way to influence the answer to that. For example, if you are charging a certain amount for your coffee today, and you have a wholesale customer or a retail customer that's prepared to pay $17 a pound for the coffee that you're selling. But in comes a competitor and says, I'm going to give you the same coffee for $15 a pound, what is your customer prepared to pay then? Now, this is where other factors of what you're offering come into play. And those kinds of things are customer service, sales support, equipment rental or hire or supply, a whole bunch of things. And this is where you can get creative as a brand in what you create when it comes to relationships with your customers. But that third question is very, very important, because if what you do is just price it at what everybody else is pricing it at, without consideration for the first two questions, you may very well be building a business that is imminently going to collapse because you are running at a loss. How do you get the correct answer for that third question? And I often tell people to start with a gut feel. And how you do that is take the coffee that you've purchased, and you know that this is an espresso blend that is an everyday drinking coffee. Now, if you know that the market, you've got a feel for what the market is typically paying right now. And I say to you, if you decide to sell this coffee for $1,000 a pound, how do you feel about that? And they're like, and you'll be like, well, that's ridiculous. And I say to you, okay, what if I tell you you're going to sell that coffee for $1 a pound? Well, that also feels ridiculous. What if I tell you we're going to sell that coffee for $50 a pound? No, that's too much. It's still sort of ridiculous, but it's heading in the right direction. All right, what about $10 a pound? Okay, it's still low, but we are getting closer. And how you know you are getting closer is because of the first two questions you've asked. You're going to refer to how much the cost of goods for this product was and what it costs you to run your business. You are going to assess what the maximum capacity of how many pounds of coffee you can sell every month are. And then you're going to calculate from what your monthly expenses are to run your business. And you're going to divide the monthly amount that it costs you to run your business. The answer to the second question. Divide that by the maximum number of coffee bags that you can produce every month. And that will be the fixed cost part of what your equation is going to be. And the equation I'm talking about is the cost of goods plus the fixed costs portion that you have to add on top of that to cover your running costs equals what it costs you to produce a bag of coffee. Your fixed costs are going to happen whether you sell one bag or no bags. So you've got to account for them in every bag and then find a way to maximize the amount that you are going to sell every month. Once you have figured out what those numbers are, then you can understand, well, if I'm going to sell my bag of coffee for $10, I've got to refer to the answer to my first two questions and know the answer to the equation of my costs of goods plus my fixed costs will tell me how much it costs me to produce a bag of coffee. And actually, for the quality of coffee that goes into this everyday blender, I found that it costs $10.11 to make this bag of coffee happen. And that's without any profit. So I can't sell it for $10. And we're obviously just using imaginary numbers here. But if It's costing you $10.11 to produce a bag of coffee, but you want to sell it for $10 because everybody else is selling it for $10, then you're operating at a loss. And eventually, as people realize that, oh, this person's got the cheapest coffee on the market, they are just driving you quicker and quicker into having to close because you're running your business at a loss. If you understand what your cost of goods and your fixed costs are, when somebody says to you, I want to buy your coffee for $10 a pound or $9 a pound, with confidence, you can say to them, no. You know the answer is no to that because it means that won't even come close to covering your costs. And so you can therefore turn around and say, well, I think that the price that I want to start considering selling my coffee at is $13, $14, $15 a pound. And I'm going to see where the sweet spot is in there, where that my customers will support me. And you're making that prediction based on numbers. This isn't a stab in the dark. As you guys know, I'm big on data. And the reason I'm big on data is because when you approach this situation in this way, you are guaranteeing that if you don't succeed as a business, it won't be because you had bad data. It won't be because you just plucked a number out of the air and you were not profitable. It could be because of a pandemic. It could be because of what's to come in 2020, but it will not be because you priced your coffee at a loss. And that is something that we constantly see happening across the coffee industry, whether it be in the cafe, pricing lattes and cappuccinos and merchandise, or it's in roasteries where people are selling roasted coffee online. If you want more help with this kind of stuff, you should join one of our mastermind groups or consider getting one-on-one consulting. But I promise you, if you follow these steps and answer these 3 questions, what are my costs of goods? What are my fixed costs and operating expenses? And how much was my customer prepared to pay for my coffee? This is a winning formula, and it guarantees success every time. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day.